verrez, là, est très... C'est le pas sur l'île du verre d'aimer.
Confidence from Charlie.
Okay, here we go, folks. It's going to be a little tricky, but I'm doing... Come on, hurry up. Half a second. Okay, here we go. Everybody eyes into the lens. Remember, hold it still. It's going to be 3, 2, 1, and I'll fire. 3, 2, 1, go. Fire.
10 years ago, a terrific idea was born. It was a day in the life of Australia. A group of photographers got together, and it was one of these crazy ideas that worked. It became a showcase of photojournalism. It was an idea that was so strong, it was carried on and carried on and carried on. 10 years later, you've had enough practice. You've come to Ireland. So I want to welcome you. You're here for one reason only. You're the best in the world. And you're in the best country in the world.
I've never been here before. So the thing that I'm excited about is, as you heard, it's like it has this mystique and mysticism for a lot of people. You know, a lot of whimsy, and I'm hoping it lives up to it.
I think this Carnmore Abbey assignment has just come out. For me, it's brilliant. I'm dying to do it. What I think down there is going to try and get the respect or the trust of the nuns to let me in.
Well, I don't know. Let me explore this and talk to you in a couple of days. I don't know. I just don't know. Emotionally, visually, already. It's Europe. It's back to Europe. I'm French. I'm sorry.
I see Limerick, but I don't see bloody Shannon. Where's Shannon?
The Invitational.
That's a tough one. I brought extra film. I would say 40 to 60 rolls, 1,500 images. Yeah, that's a lot of images, granted, but there might be one of those instances, as I say, that starts to develop, and the more you get into, you see things breaking away from that into other delightful little moments that you hate to pass up. And since we do only have that 24-hour period, I think the thing that's most important is do the best you can under those circumstances. And
life is an adventure, so let's get out and do it.
One of the great fears about the gig this morning was that it might be raining. So it doesn't look too bad.
Okay, hey, here.
Patsy now should be waiting to pick up his horse. The horse must have had a lie on him this morning. We were due there at 4 o'clock, but there would have been no light, so there's no point.
It's off for about in the morning.
Today's project, I think, is, I can't make up my mind whether it's a celebration or a test, whether it's a celebration of photojournalism or it's just simply a test to the country.
Oh, you make a wonderful picture.
Did you do that?
I've great confidence in it. I mean, we have what is literally the best photographers in the world, and we put in weeks of research setting up for them at least the opportunities, not the photographs, just the opportunities. This book, at the end of the day, I want the photographers to honour the country and be loyal. I think that's the whole thing about photojournalists. The strength of being loyal to their subjects and loyal to the people that they photograph. I mean, 250,000 images. That's a lot to pick from. How do you sum it all up?
How are we on time for the next gig?
34. 6-inch?
6:34.
Hour and plenty of time.
Yes, back over.
We have to bring up Simon Harris and Dermot Fallon here. Peter Kelly is on his way down there to get them. Are they in? Yes, over.
Just Simon to come in, over. Yeah, I got the board. Who's up there? You got the board, over.
So what's the schedule for this one? Well, they're going to pack up. We assemble them there. We have 3 yards, you see, all these together, and tell them what they're doing. We head on out. What you want is a good, stupid horse, brave or stupid, who doesn't mind going through that.
Does that say anything about the rider?
No comment.
No comment.
No, they're all brave. This is the Corry, where we've had organised horse racing now for 200 years. It's the home of the Budweiser Irish Derby here behind us, which is our greatest race. Trainers like me have been plying their trade here for 200 years. It's a nice feeling to come out in the mornings and be trotting the same path that all these famous trainers of the past have been on.
I think what I like so much here is the sense of the horses being surrounded by this luscious green color and bushes, the beautiful yellow foliage, and the expansiveness, the vastness of the area. It's really beautiful. And feeling that the riders incorporated into the scene. And I feel like forging ahead with the day at this point.
It's Headford School. It's in Kells in County Meath. It was chosen by the Dingle people because they were looking for schools that were a bit unusual in Ireland, and certainly Headford fall into that category. Just by coincidence, I went here but a long time ago, about 23 years ago, in fact, that I left here.
We come. Right.
Basically, it would be an upper middle-class school, essentially Protestant. It's for kids from the age of 8 to 13. It's a mixture of boys and girls.
Pass me now, yeah. Go on.
The stuff in the dormitory was a bit disorganised because I couldn't convince the teacher to quite do exactly what I wanted, but I knew it was under pressure. Up in the bathroom was actually quite good. There was quite a lot of stuff, but this actually looks like it's going to make something quite interesting. After breakfast was actually what I thought was going to be the most interesting thing. The first 11 cricket team go out and they roll the cricket pitch. It just seems a really strange function. But I'm sure it doesn't happen in any other school in Ireland. Cricket, I mean, being a very unusual game in Ireland for a start. The other thing that was really strange was that they have a thing called assembly, which takes place after this. The kids are in rows, the headmaster's up at the front, there's something read from the Bible, the headmaster then says something about what's going to happen during that day. And for me, that was just a really sort of poignant moment, because it was actually the sort of... there I was there 23 years ago.
When you think of the great range of Irish people and you think of the terrific talent that this country has exported, you often have to look back and wonder where it came from. You look at the educational system of Ireland, you have such a wide range of schools, and that gives you the answer to the question of where the bedrock of the talent was formed.
How you doing, Larry? I haven't asked you. How long have you been married now?
46 years.
46 years. 15 children.
Phil Mussels.
Pardon me?
Phil Mussels.
Yeah, that's right.
There's only me shortness there now.
Could we go out and walk around outside?
Yeah. Be careful yourselves out there.
Oh, well, we will. Can you come along? I might get a picture of you.
No, I'll go on a minute.
Oh, okay.
When I have a small fix to eat, I'll be long.
Okay.
I'm only got out of bed.
Oh, okay. All of them, right? All 15?
That's the 15 kids we have, yeah.
Now, you need to look like you're happy you're doing this.
Oh!
And that having 15 children wasn't any problem at all.
I didn't mind it a bit myself. I left that to her.
You what?
I left her to have them.
Yeah. That is a convenient way of doing it, isn't it? Yes, I think...
Good job, that female.
What do you say about having 15 children? There's not much else to do on a lighthouse? Something like that? That sounds...
You know, it passed so quickly that you wouldn't, we didn't really notice them going and, going up and getting off. And,
oh, sure.
Yeah.
One more thing. Ollie, you just laid your head over there on his hand, on his shoulder, just like that. And Larry, just look off down that way. Oh, yeah. And look right there, you go.
Dreamy looking, is it?
Oh, yeah. I tell you, if this isn't Ireland, I don't know what is.
Good morning, Father. The helicopter pilots?
No, this is my first time. It's the first time for everything, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll do that.
That's great.
We like to bless the hanger first. Blessed are you, Lord our God, creator of the universe and Father of us all. It's an acknowledgement that God is our creator, our protector, our guardian. He looks after us at the beginning of life, at the end, and after life too. Provides God's blessing on all these. Aircraft, homes, crops, people, of course, naturally enough, factories, everything, because everything comes in the long run from the hand of God. If I climb the heavens, you are there. If I lie in the grave, you are there. If I climb the heavens, O Lord, you are there.
Stand right close to the nose.
Right close to the nose.
Yeah.
I hope it comes out, everything that's all right for it. That all your pictures come out. This man is not filming me by any chance, is he? Is he not? I hope. Is he? Right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
One of the great advantages of the light in Ireland is it's such a small country. And within the small place, you get a terrific variation in light patterns. We enjoy a climate that sometimes gives us 4 seasons in one day. On the eastern coast, the light is a bit softer. It takes a while to come on stream. The light over in the west now is quite amazing. It's It's a terrific kind of highlight, almost like the west coast of America, that same kind of quality. We have a photographer working over on the west coast. He's doing a lot of aerials, so he should have a terrific day, if the weather holds. Yet at the same time, if the weather doesn't hold, normally it doesn't close in for too long. You'll always get a sufficient break in it. And it's usually after the rain that the mountains look terrific and the landscape looks marvelous.
Oh, who's that? Francie, good morning. Hello, McCann. I'm well. Listen, some of the boys were going out to 28. I understand 1028 is actually not operating now. So they should really make their which one is operating? Is it 3-4?
The one beside the end where they come in.
And we also need the lights switched on, the landing lights.
We're running out of time.
And then the approach lights, you know.
There's Peter drops at 11 o'clock and at 10:15 you have to cut no matter what's happening, you know.
We've only got 25 minutes to get shots.
That's a bit of an early.
Hey, thanks, Nancy. Great.
No, the plane comes in this way, doesn't it? No, the plane comes in this way. This is what we want. Go. Great. Now that was a rehearsal, okay? How are we on time, lads? The bulbs wouldn't look light. See that? Okay, just call them in to me, will you? Gotta see the right place in the text. Call them in. Right over now. Great, absolutely great. Orgasmus on stuff. That was terrific. Starship Enterprise. I have photographed Charles Haughey many times over the years. I photographed him as a TD, as a minister, and today I photographed him as Prime Minister of the country. Good morning, Taoiseach. Many thanks for joining us.
It's always a joy to photograph. He has been one of the strongest political contributors to the arts in Ireland, and we have the benefit of that today.
Stand here for me. Maybe just put your hand there. And just look straight across. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm just going to come across straight across. That's nice.
I think when I would try and convey my concept, I try and convey a very old country, very old nation emerging into the modern world and in equipping itself to take its place among the top league of the European nations.
I came to Dingle about 6 years ago, and it was the prettiest place I'd been in Ireland, and I really wanted to come back someday and photograph it. I liked the village, but the scenery was incredible, the people were wonderful, and so then when I was invited on this story, I asked for Dingle, because it was just a place I had to return to and work in a little bit. I don't really come with very many preconceived ideas because they rarely pan out. I guess mostly I had an excuse to get to know the people. You know, when you're working, you have an excuse to just walk up and knock on someone's door or stop in the field and ask them if you can be with them. And, you know, not everyone can do that, except maybe with the Irish because they're so friendly. You got it, Timmy? There we go. Does she have to stop for stop sign? Well, the Catholic Church is enormous in this part of the country, and it's a part of most children's education. So I wanted to show that. There's the day school where all the kids in town go to. It's run by the presentation sisters, I believe. There we go. Oh, that's good. Everybody look at me. That's it. Now you gotta look like you're gonna make your first communion. There we go. See my little angel? Yeah, but we're gonna photograph you in the girls' toilet. I know that in spring it's first communion time because I can still remember my first communion. And it's a big deal in a child's life. It's a big deal in a child's life. The girls are all dressed in white and they look like little angels, and the boys are, they've got new jumpers and little outfits, and they're cute as can be. So even though I couldn't be here on the day of the First Holy Communion, I at least was able to do a portrait that shows how important it is to these children, and I think it shows in their faces. They're just beaming, they're so proud. Your First Communion, there we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I gotcha. Actually, I was looking around Dingle for a large Irish family. And a lady at the hotel told us that there was a big family out here that just had their 11th child. And I was wondering.
I'm on the camera now. Leading. Yeah, I know everything now. I pretend there's nothing going on. You know you want to write down all the names.
Yeah, well, I think it'll take time. I guess the hard thing is when I'm shooting the scenery, I feel guilty I'm not shooting the people because they're so wonderful. And then when I'm shooting the people, I feel like I should be shooting the scenery because it's so wonderful. You can't miss, really. It's fantastic.
Give me a swipe the other night.
Siobhan, get in there. Oh. Okay, Siobhan, darling. Oh, here she's coming right at me. Okay, there we go.
I'm farming here now about 25 years. My father retired and I took over. There's 5 generations of us now. The young fella here now is the 6th coming out.
Ah, was a good one. But now with this many people, I'd take 2.
In this section here, there'd be about 60 acres. We have more than the other side, like, a few acres more. But this was all battle land one time. We had deep plough it and do a lot of harrowing, do a lot of stone picking, all that. And put your seed down, then start turning green.
It's for a book called A Day in the Life. So we're going to print numbers on the I think there's a fascination with Belfast because of the troubles and because of the various problems it has. Whereas what was interesting to me was just how ordinary it was. Like, it's just an ordinary, everyday city, people going about their ordinary life. Whether, there's army patrols or IUC patrols, people still have to go out and buy fish or buy meat or do the shopping it was about looking at these ordinary events, I think, but trying to look at them, take an extraordinary picture of it. So that even when the people on the Shankill look at the book and look at the photograph, they're going to see, well, Yeah, I do that almost every day, and yet it's going to be a really nice picture, and they're going to say, oh yeah, well, you're even going to remind them of what they do. It's going to make it special for them.
What's the dog's name? Blackie. That's novel. Okay. Took you a long time to think that one up, did it?
Yeah, I mean, when I was asked to go to Belfast, and then they told me that they were sending me up to the Shankill Road, yeah, somebody had to have a sense of humour to ask a Free State Catholic called James to go up and work in the heart of loyalist Belfast. Basically, the heart of Protestant and loyalist Belfast, yeah.
Just tell these fellas a few years ago they've been being chased for their lives. Any cameramen showed up in the road and chased their lives. Now, we're getting back to some form of normality.
I mean, it's not a problem because people are people the world over. They're ordinary, everyday people. I mean, there's a minority involved in paramilitary activities, whereas the majority are just getting on with their daily life. And I think they meet people and accept them the way they are. Been offered more cups of tea and have had more fun just chatting with people than I probably would have had working in urban Dublin. You know?
That's enough.
That's enough. Is it? Okay.
Oh, that's enough. Well, tell the man that.
Choose here. Because it's supposed to be a difficult place to work in, and there's a lot of complex things going on, so it's worthwhile checking out for yourself to see what's going on.
Are you well famous, Eoghan?
Yes, I'm well famous.
Okay. When they came to Derry, they heard that this was on, and they said, can they come along?
What you see going on here today is a group of 50, 60 children coming together from both sides of the divided community here in Northern Ireland, in Derry. They're coming today together for a conference entitled Imagining a World Without Weapons.
So as not to make it all sitting around and talking, we'll play some games as well from time to time to get to know one another.
Basically, what we try to achieve by doing this conference is to bring the two communities together, these Catholic and Protestant children together. Ordinarily, in everyday life, they don't grow up together. They grow up separately. They grow up in a Catholic area or a Protestant area. They go to Catholic schools or Protestant schools.
Okay, get ready.
In the end, they don't have the opportunity to see each other. They don't have the opportunity to talk to each other. And probably in the course of today, the Northern Ireland problem will come into the discussion. There's something that a friend of ours always said, Jimmy, member of our group, always said to me was, Tanya, if you're playing with somebody, if you meet somebody, if you talk to somebody in the street who's from the opposite religion to you, it's very difficult in the end to look through a gun and shoot that person because you know him, you've spoken to him, you've got a personal level there.
We're just going towards it.
Papa, the very famous photojournalist, said that if my picture is not good enough, then I was not close enough to the subject. So I changed this saying a little bit for myself, and I would say, if my picture is not good enough, I was not close enough to the people.
I grew up in a small farm where we did fishing for the money end of it, you know. And we had most of our needs that we grew on the land, and most of all the small families then around this part of the world worked like that, you know. Family worked as a unit, you know, and the stronger ones, of course, on sea. We used to work on the rowers for sail in those times. Very, very tough. In the early years, I often used to wonder, well, I wish my father had been well enough off to send me to school, that I could work and get a nice handy job working in an office or something like that, you know, or be a teacher or a doctor, stuff like that, you know, but that wasn't to me, of course. I was a young lad of 17. My eldest brother and my brother-in-law and two others were lost the same day, you know. And years afterwards, about my youngest boy in the family, he got lost at sea, just toppled overboard. It's a good life, yeah. Good life if it doesn't take a tumble, just like that, you know.
As an introduction to our awards day, our senior slogan group will now sing for you. These won All-Ireland competition in traditional singing and music about a month ago. Our senior slogan group.
All of you have to be congratulated in your own way. I heard there was an award for punctuality. But if the truth was known, probably there are lots of children here who may have been late for school many mornings, but they deserved an award because maybe they had a lot of problems. If that's the case with you and you've been in school at all, I congratulate you on the award of having come to school.
My message to you is really kind of a warning away from bad habits, which can stick with a person and stay with a person for life. In the last boyhood of Judas, Christ was betrayed. And a quotation from Graham Greene. And of course, Greene was talking not of the Judas of that time, but of all the Judases, of all the people who fail morally.
Once we keep beginning, we're saved. We'll be brought home in the long run.
Now, I would suggest that you examine yourselves. Where do we stand in moral decisions and moral choices?
Power and money and sex and booze and drugs and all these things, they don't make you happy.
Addiction to any kind of bad habit, it doesn't matter what it is. People do not deliberately set out to get into them. They get into them by taking chances with things, by practicing bad habits. It doesn't matter what the problem is. All people who have problems need help and they need love. And there isn't a political answer to these problems. There isn't an economic answer. There isn't a legal answer. The answer is in the kind of love that Christ was talking about when he told us to love our neighbours as ourselves.
I've got you a film, Bob, I'll tell you, £5 a roll.
I could probably get the shot of. How hard is it going to be for you guys to get the bikes up on in the lot?
No bother. No problem.
No, it's okay.
No prospect.
Because what I'd like to do is I'd like to try to get the portrait of you guys up above, and we'll do that up there, and then bring you back down here, and I want to do some like individual portraits down here on this side of the pub, you know, against the white wall, so to use the contrast of the, you know, the jackets and everything, and so. No, it's yeah, there you go. No, actually I'm gonna be broke. The Guinness is gonna break me. I can see that. I wanted to try to find a way that when I could give a feel of a bike group in Ireland. So how am I gonna do this? Since they're having the bike show up in the field up above the pub here. You know what I'm going to try to do? I figured it would be nice to get them up there and get the bikes in the field. Stagger the bikes in the green fields of Ireland, you know. What else, you know? So, hey, now let me ask you a question. How do you want it done?
How much will you get for this?
Say again?
How much were you getting for this?
Harry's are Harry's, man. You own one, you know what you're owning it for.
When you own one, you have to get to know it too, you know.
It makes mechanics out of ordinary people.
Come right over here. There you go. Come right over.
You got her, you got her, you got her.
I won't bite you. All right. hold on. Okay. All right. Good. We can deal with this. We can deal with it.
What about the freedom?
I'm going to deal with some depth here now.
Freedom, it's a feeling, you know. It's just what we feel out of them.
In between the showers of rain.
In between the rain.
Okay, guys.
It's the brotherhood, the bikes, the freedom of being able to go and do it in a good country.
Giving us some sense of achievement at the end of the day.
Same thing, we're here, driving Harry days.
Couldn't see it.
15 years time.
Couldn't do it any other way, you know. Couldn't see yourself.
It's a way of life.
I just want to do some portraits, you know, because they may just want some portraits.
My goal is different sometimes when I'm on some other kind of assignment, but for this, it's just the daily life. And what I try is to meld somewhere they don't see me. I love that lady. You see the kid? Very often you see me pretending taking pictures. I don't take pictures. First they look at me, obviously, and then slowly, after 10, 15 minutes, I belong to the wall here, you know, and that's the start to work.
This area here, right, since these flats went up, right, since 1941, right, I mean, you're talking many years there, right? Now, they haven't really done much repair to these flats, apart from putting in a shower. The problem would be the overcrowding, you know? That'd be
No, in the flats. Because the family say they have 6 children with 2 bedrooms.
Some visitors. Can we come in? We arrive in 4. Sit down, please, sit down. How long you are here in that building?
I'm years from now.
All right.
When the first were built, she moved in. Her mother.
Do you remember the cow shed down there?
No, Gummy, they gardeners, they don't know.
I came from over there.
From over there. That's lovely. She had many kids.
There was.
You were?
There's 12 of us left, isn't there? There was 16, wasn't it? She had 16. And there's
You mean she had 16 children?
Yeah.
Bravo.
But some died, you know, like she's twins
now.
She's 50-something grandchildren.
You'll have to come back and make a big family picture, right?
She's 40-odd great-grandchildren. You know, so it's about 90 or 100 altogether, grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Everybody loves going to a wedding to see 2 young people in love, and we hope and pray, of course, that they will continue to love each other all the days of their lives. Also, people, when they get married, have the obligation of bringing up children if God grants them children, the gift and grace and wonder of children, that they form them into the Christian way of life. And in a world in which the indissolubility of marriage is not always recognized, the Catholic Church insists upon it because it establishes solidarity, it established stability.
Oh, wait now. I began.
Two young people, when they come to get married, they already are in love with each other, and now they're going to commit themselves to each other all the days of their lives in the presence of the entire Christian Catholic community. They're going to, as Christ said so beautifully, greater love than this no man hath, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And that's what young people are doing when they get married. They're really laying down their lives for each other. And to young people, when they come up, they say these tremendous words: to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, till death do us part. In other words, in the Catholic Church, marriage is indissoluble. Now, marriage as a sacrament naturally is a means of grace. It's a means of getting closer to Christ. It's a means of becoming holier. In a way, you could use the expression, it's a sort of a stairway to the stars. Everybody will agree that there's nothing more beautiful than to see two people who have been married for 20, 30, 40 or 50 years, loving each other after all these years with the same freshness, the same beauty, the same wonder, the same magnificence as the day they got married. All the freshness of the love still with them.
Sit down, you sit down.
Okay. Great.
Lovely.
That looks wonderful.
We bust old camera over in America.
That's right.
And as I live, my heart does grieve our lovely Almond town. Our prayers of loss have been the cause of many a boy like me. Our farm too small to serve was all we had to cross the sea. And twice farewell to my own dear girl I left in County Clare. St. Patrick's Day, though far away, the Shamrock I will drown. And I think of thee, a grama free, from lovely Alden town. Up the banner, everything.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. You got wish cat.
I got the wish cat again. I got the wish cat.
That's what I believe that's twice. Put them for cats.
Oh, I
There's the 9 of hearts.
There's the 9 of hearts.
There's the 9 of hearts, the 10 of clubs, and the 6 of diamonds. My goodness, it's your day. I haven't said it already.
Come on, Connie, you stop and We're going to put the animals in and to toast them.
My father was a farmer before me. He owned the land out here. I got the land from him, so I went into the cattle business then, you know.
Which is a sideline for...
Basically, it's a hobby more than else, you know. We're not in... We couldn't make a living out of it at the moment, no. If I wasn't working as well, I wouldn't be able to live on the income I get out of the land. I suppose if we really did our counts, you know, we may not even make money at all out of it, a profit out of it.
No, just go over the gate, let her in. No, go the other one, the other side. An ordinary family with a mortgage would need in the range of 15 to 20,000. 15 to 20,000 to live in here. I have approximately 24 acres of my own and 6 acres which I rent. The average price of land about here would be, agricultural land would be £1,500.
It's difficult here in West Clare to be in agriculture, first of all because the land is not as good as it is in other parts of the country. I suppose it's what's known as a disadvantaged area in that we get extra handouts from the government, well, from the EEC. And I suppose because we're on the Atlantic coast as well, in winter time, weather is severe enough, you know.
And farms would be generally smaller. They would be generally smaller.
And we don't have that much help anymore. I mean, most of the people a lot of the young people have immigrated from here now.
Done two ladies in the woman's home. So, it's very famous now. He's have to take a photograph of it. What's the name of it?
Well said. 5, 4, 3. Shoot on. Shine. Action. Some size in my dream about the perfect woman. Shine. But seem to lack the technology. Shoot. And poor heart breaks with alarming regularity. Which is not to say that I'm pessimistic about my future chances.
A few words, we have to realize we can't get out and do something.
You can be having a preliminary look there, or just to get there. You're treated of it.
8 ounces, yeah. That's the normal one. There's the 32, which is the normal roll.
That's right, it is, yeah.
How are you? Welcome to Ireland.
Thank you very much, Eric Baki.
Have you seen this sport in America?
No, I haven't, but I'm going to try and take it back.
We have practice happening.
You probably got it.
Lord Mayor is late, he's very nervous.
You're only.
He ought to be, right?
The pressure is on him.
Aren't you practicing all the week? Is that true?
And the Lord Mayor wasn't sleeping for the past couple nights.
No. Church versus state.
They say strong and intimidate your opponent.
How long would a basic throw be for those guys? Now I know Kiernan, because he's skilled at it.
Yeah.
But how long a throw?
Well, they could get a shot up to 200-300 yards, and depends on where they're on the road as well. You know, they're at a corner. They obviously have to loft it into the air. You saw them do that. It's one of the great skills of the game here in Cork. It's the loft, and they're all very proud of their loft. You know.
That's also
just to show my dexterity.
Funny thing is, after it hits the road, then it seems to stabilize. You don't.
Yeah, they put a little spin on it, and that, you know, they spin it into the track. There's little tracks on the road which the untrained eye wouldn't see. These guys can see them. Well. They know where it is, and they also have a road show there who helps them to see exactly where to throw.
Oh, that's the one fellow that stands out in front there?
Yeah, with the grass. And usually there's a bit of negotiation between the player and the guy on the road, and they decide exactly where it's going to go, and then...
So he'd be much like a caddy in golf.
Exactly, yeah, like a caddy in golf, yeah. A good road show is worth a lot, because they also... It's a game of nerves as well. You know, especially if there's a lot of money involved, or if it's an important championship, all the top players would have a retinue of supporters and backers, you know. And
I'm suspecting my road show here. I think he's a supporter of the Lord Mayor.
The whole thing is a lot of loyalty involved, you know. You back the same player at all times, you know, and... you know, you might have noticed there's a lot of sort of jargon as well.
Sure.
You know, there's sort of a whole language.
I think we'll have to have a rematch in Boston.
We'll have to get President Bush at the next one. I don't think I realize my full potential in you know.
Somebody said you just won by the last one.
I've got a good kick there.
The beauty of it is, though, this is where the pace changes in the day. But the other thing too about the Irish pub is it's like going into the parlour of the country. You're always made welcome. You could never be alone in an Irish pub. It's also, of course, the other place where all the problems of the world are solved. You know, we would actually be able to solve problems like the American space race or US-Soviet relationships and stuff like that. I often wonder, will this book capture that, that great Irish thing of quiet observers? We're on our island here and we sit back and we watch the rest of the world and we solve all their problems. We have a different pace, though. It's a great thing about an island people. I think the heart beats a bit slower when you're here. It's a great place to come and have yourself repaired, I'd imagine.
Provided by a grant from Lexus.